Hello and welcome to Massive Chalice. My name is Maybe So, and I will be bringing you through this playthrough video. Massive Chalice is a new strategy game from Double Fine. They had a Kickstarter a while ago, and it recently went into early access on Steam. There was a 25% off sale on the Humble Store, so I decided to go in and give it a try. I've played it for several hours last night, and now I'm just going to kind of walk through the game in a playthrough with you guys, and let's get started. It's basically, if you had to say it's a cross between any two games, it's mostly XCOM from a playability standpoint and Crusader Kings from a lineage and as time passes kind of standpoint. That may not make too much sense right now, but I'm gonna get started with a new game here, and once we get into it, it'll be easier to explain and it'll start to make a lot more sense. I will tell you right now, there's a lot of voice acting in the game, and whenever the voices are about to come on, I'm just gonna step aside so you can hear them, and then I'll come back in once they're finished. And if we're lucky, I won't talk over any of it.
It's taking too long.
Patience.
Patience? I don't see what patience has to do with this. It should have happened by now.
Life keeps to its own timetable, not ours.
Oh, doesn't stop us from trying. Good morning.
Your ruler has risen. Rejoice, and let bellow the horns of birth.
Right. I know how strange all of this looks, but there's an easy...
Immortal protector of the nation, progeny of the great bloodlines, master of strategies, eternal conductor, and forger of matrimony.
We're here to advise you on how to handle ruling and commanding...
The horns of battle.
every time. Fine, we'll have to do this later. The Cadence is attacking. Heroes, jump in! Get in there! The ruler will be with you shortly!
And off they go.
We'll explain later. We just need you to take command, because our citizens, understandably, find it hard to trust a giant talking chalice.
We are not just a giant talking
But
chalice.
the nation will listen to you, because you're of their blood.
Forged from the bloodlines of the great houses.
Oh, and one last thing. Unfortunately, the bloodline ritual that was used to create you also bound you to us. So you can never leave the throne.
But do not despair. You can still command your heroes. Look inward, and you will find that your mind can follow them anywhere.
You see your heroes yet? Yeah? Great.
Now, take command and search the area.
Okay, so that's the general intro. There's a massive chalice, which is where the name comes from, that gives you advice. It's got a dual personality, male and female, and they kind of go back and forth throughout the game. That's where all the voice acting comes in. The commands are pretty simple here. Your guys can have skills of 1 to 4, I think. As you level up, you unlock more skills. And you can do most of the camera navigation and everything with the mouse, so it's really not that complicated.
Cadence is out there somewhere.
Your party is always 5 units. There's 3 classes in the early access. I don't know if there will be more in the final game, and there's 3 different, so there's 3 classes. This party that you start out with is randomly generated, and unfortunately I got a really bad roll here. I have 4 caberjacks, they're called, which is the melee tank class, and 1 hunter. and none of the alchemists. So the reason that matters is you'll want to keep a balanced party, and the more units that survive each level, the more they advance and level up. So next mission, if I want to bring an alchemist in, I'm going to have to start him over at level 1. So we'll get more into that later. If I was playing seriously right now, I'd probably reset and start over, because you don't want an unbalanced party like this. But for the sake of illustration, I will keep going here, and I'm going to take my hunter, and much like XCOM, you can see there's a yellow area here. If I move within the yellow area, I can move a second time, or I can attack. And if I move further out within the white area, my turn is going to end for that player.
Ah, there we are.
First catch of the day.
We can't tell you much about the cadence because not much is known. It's old, first sighted centuries ago. It cares only for destroying our nation with its corruption.
That's where pawns like you see here come in. Think of them as attack dogs the Cadence creates to spread corruption in the world.
So these little units up here are called seeds. We'll learn more about them later. They're the weakest enemy that you'll face. They only have 10 hit points, and they just do little melee attacks. So I can't attack because I've already moved into the white. I used up all my action points for this guy. So I'll just...
This is a caberjack. They hit things with a caber. Sometimes they hit hard and put things down. Other times they hit not so hard and just knock things out.
That's all you're going to say?
Simplest way of life there is.
Caberjacks. Profound purveyors of violence.
Yeah, it's really annoying. They definitely seem to want to interrupt me very frequently. So our melee classes, none of them are going to be able to attack these guys, so I'm just going to move them up a little bit closer and end their turns, so that the enemy will have to come closer to me, and then hopefully next turn I'll be able to attack them. Once your turn's over, the enemy gets to go.
That could have been avoided.
That could have been worse. At least they belong to heroic bloodlines.
Oh yes, we forgot to mention, normal humans cannot survive even a single touch from the kings, but because the bloodlines of your heroes are attuned to us and have our power flowing through them, we have a fighting chance.
Okay, so now I'm controlling my hunter again. When I mouse over the seed, it shows a 50% chance of 8 to 11 damage, so that's not really that great compared to this caberjack, who can do an 84% chance of 10 to 14, so I'm going to do that. And the seed is dead.
How about that, eh?
One down, untold millions to go.
So I'm going to do a similar strategy here, just ending my turn.
Here you have the hunter. Attacking at close range is good, but attacking from afar, where one can think and plan, is better.
If you listen closely, you might be able to hear your group leaving you behind as you line up that perfect shot.
Actually, the hunter will be in front of the group, stealthily scouting ahead.
Is that what they say they're doing?
So this is a pretty long distance attack. It's only a 50% chance at success at 9 to 12 damage, but I don't really have any alternative, so might as well just give it a shot. And he missed. So, caberjack turn here, and 70% chance at doing 13 to 17, pretty good. And seed's dead. You notice the characters throw out little quotes after each successful attack. Much like XCOM and other RTS games, there's a fog of war. You have to just continuously explore.
Seeds. Arguably the lowliest pawns are more nuisance than menace.
But if you're going to remember one thing, don't let those runts form a posse. Keep them apart.
Otherwise it'll be like when caberjacks get together at a tavern.
Except not the best night of your life.
Okay. So, they definitely give you a warning to not let them group up together, but in my experience, I've seen them get close to one another, and I haven't noticed them doing anything differently. So I don't.
You deplorable beast of pestilence.
I don't know if that's just some flavor text or if it is actually different.
Lapses.
Caden's cowards. They'd rather stay back and snipe at you than fight up close.
Be wary. If your heroes are hit, they may forget some of their combat training. The mind is just as vulnerable as the body.
So lapses, these little ghost-looking guys here, if they successfully attack you, you will lose 150 experience points. And that can really start to add up, and you can lose entire levels from being attacked by them. So you want to get them down as quickly as possible. But sadly, I think my hunter has already gone on this turn, and I'll have to survive an attack from them. But luckily he missed. So maybe that'll work out for us. The seeds really aren't that big of a concern. Okay, so if my Caberjack comes up to him, he can attack for 11 to 15 damage with an 80% chance of success. But instead, he got a glancing blow and barely did any damage. So now let's try again. And another glancing blow. So we're kind of screwed there. This guy can't reach the lap, so I'm going to see if I can get him to just attack the seed. Now the hunter should be able to get off a shot at the laps. Okay, 75% chance is pretty high for a hunter at this distance, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to do enough damage. And this Caberjack is just too far, so we'll try to bring him into the fray. It's worth noting that not every unit has the same amount of movement points. It's specific to the individual, and that's something that you can actually track in the character abilities. Some will have more mobility than others. Okay, so now we have a successful attack there. Another thing is the lapses do explode and knock you back, but they don't do any damage when they do that. Okay. So I don't know if these are the last of the guys in this level. I'm hoping that they are. This guy's down to 6 HP. And we definitely want him to survive the mission. Okay. Great.
That went better than I expected.
Well done. Well done. I knew you'd have a knack for this.
So you can see each character gets a different amount of mission experience points as well as kill experience points. So it does matter which units get the kills, but they all get some amount of experience and progress. These ones with the +1 actually leveled up, and I'll show you on the next screen what the progression trees look like.
Right. So this is our nation, and as we said, we are not in the best of shape.
That muck you see surrounding us is the Cadence. It's what created the pawns, corrupted our lands, and is slowly tightening on us like a noose. But we do have one advantage.
Thanks to several enchanted materials that make up our body, we've been endowed with certain powers. One of them being a way to cleanse the Cadence from this world. It's really quite a miraculous process, wherein we harness the properties of...
The thing is, it takes a long time for us to charge up for this. A long time. All of the heroes you just commanded in battle will be long gone when we're finally ready.
With all that time still ahead, we need you to protect us. You'll take charge of the nation, command its citizens worthy of becoming heroes, and ensure that the cadence does not reach the capital.
Now let's check out that keep you just saved.
Okay, so like XCOM, you're the commander of the squad, and even when you're controlling the other 5 characters, you're the one just giving them commands, and you set research and other things that your greater team are working on. In this game, you're a nation, and you've got different territories here. Right now, all we have is the capital here in the center, the throne, and this one keep. Keeps are where you generate new units, and you do that by appointing a regent and then a partner, male and female, to have children with. So let's get into that now.
The keeps. Bloodline forgers of the nation.
The stonemasons did good work here. I'll thank them later.
Here you will appoint one hero as a regent and one as a partner. The more experience they have, the more they'll pass on to their children.
That goes for traits and personalities too. Everything's gain.
And keep in mind, assigning heroes to keeps retires them from combat. You can't have one foot at home and one in the battlefield.
So this is where the game gets tricky, and it is pretty early on, but you immediately have to start making trade-offs. Your best players will become the best regents and partners to make children with, but that means they'll no longer be able to fight for you. So you have to balance between who to sacrifice from battle in the name of creating better children for the future. So first, let me do what I was going to do, what I said earlier. We're going to level up the 2 characters that earned level 2. So the first choice, much like, again, in XCOM, you don't have a choice between what you're going to unlock. In the case of Caberjacks, it's a prime target ability that allows you to taunt. Once you hit level 4, you can choose between Fury, which does increase damage, or Rebound, which increases your armor and knocks back any attackers. I won't get into the rest of the progression tree. That'll be a later episode, but so far, as you can tell, if you've played XCOM, this is very similar. So I'm just going to unlock prime target here, and now go back to the decision-making process of who is going to be the regent. So since I've got this character unlocked, I'll just roll with it here. You can see their stats, and I don't know how much the stats actually matter in terms of the children that they make, but I do know that their traits and personalities come through. So this character here would actually be terrible at being a... actually, I take that back. Decreased dexterity is not a big deal for Caberjacks necessarily, because they're mostly using strength. Although it does lower their evasion percent. But since they have the most HP, it's not that big of a deal. It'd be a much bigger deal for hunters. Quick study, increased XP gain is a great thing for a parent to have, because that means all your children will also have increased XP gain, so they'll be leveling up faster. Cocky lowered evasion when at max health. That's just one, a random downside. Kind of like Rogue Legacy almost. They just have random personalities, and some are good, some are bad. Then the status here is temporary. Prime age, increased hit points and strength. That's because she's age 31, and anyone I think between 25 and 45 get this benefit here. So let's take a look at the other characters that we have to choose from. Brainy, increased intelligence. Kingmaker, increased chance of having sons. Rebel, personality traits run counter to those parents and trainers. And Attuned, increased resistance to non-physical damage. And also the Prime Age buff. Okay, strong-willed. Personality is not influenced by parents or trainers. Decreased maximum HP. So this is bad. We don't want to pass this along to our children. Faint-hearted, decreased damage after a death of an ally. That's not something that we really want to pass along. And nervous, decreased accuracy is not something that we want to pass along. So this character would be a very poor choice for a parent. So let's just move on to the next one there. This one, dim-witted, lower intelligence, flincher, reduced evasion against melee. Okay, I don't know what this reveler one is. It's about being drunk and hungover. Cocky, we've already seen that one. Oh, drunk, few too many before battle, may increase strength but lowers dexterity and intelligence. Interesting. So I'm gonna save this character with increased intelligence for something called the Sage Rights Guild later on. But basically, it's where you do your research, and intelligence will come in handy there. So I think I might actually choose Kimberly Hetherington because of the increased XP gain. So she's age 31, average fertility. Now I need to choose a male.
Although this isn't an arrangement out of love, who knows? Maybe it'll turn into that.
We've seen it happen.
Personality, traits, experience, they're all important here.
But just because this is an arrangement of necessity doesn't mean you should reduce these heroes to a pile of numbers either. They deserve better than that.
Okay, so when you choose a partner, if you choose one of the same class, like if I were to choose this Caberjack, that means all the children would be Caberjacks as well. So that's something you need to consider. Young age, increased dexterity and fertility, which is good. Decreased intelligence and intuition. That's because they're only age 23, so that's just temporary. But nearsighted has a decreased range. Brainy, increased intelligence. Cocky, we've seen. Alert, increased evasion against ranged attacks. That's actually pretty good. Asthmatic, reduced movement, slow. Yeah, that's definitely something we don't want to pass along. Okay. Pack Hunter, improves stats when allies are nearby. Reckless, this hero's careless manner decreases armor. You know, here's where the game also sort of throws another loop at you. Sometimes you will not have a very good choice, so you have to just make the best of the worst with it. So I think actually this guy with increased intelligence is, well, let's see, do we have any? We have 0 alchemists on the entire roster. So yeah, let's just go ahead and use this Caberjack.
Many happy returns.
Let's give the newlyweds some privacy, eh?
Okay.
It's a lot to take in, but you'll handle it, or your mind will become as cracked as our body.
You'll be fine. Now then, please join us back at the capital so we can show you some of your other responsibilities.
Okay, so I think I'm going to stop right there, keep these videos around 20 minutes long, and I'll pick up right where we left off with the next episode, which will get into more of the sort of longer time frame aspects of the game. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and check out the remainder of the series.